Back at home, I come from a very religious family. My mom was very, very strict Catholic. So we knew all our prayers at home. We knew about Mass because we used to go to Mass when we were at home. Mass was mandatory. We have to go to Mass. And we were supposed to be very, very respectful for the priest, for the church. That's how we were brought up. So we had to know the prayers, morning prayers. Before eating any food, you have to pray, evening prayers, and go to church on Sundays. And on Saturdays, go for catechism. We used to go for catechism for First Holy Communion and confirmation, a full 1 year to learn catechism before you receive your First Holy Communion or before you are confirmed. We finished the high school, and I remember, if I could take you back again, while at home, I used to be an altar server. When I was young, I was an altar server, so we were very much connected with the parish and the priest. So we knew very much about the life of a priest. And most of the time, when we had Mass in an outstation, we would go with the priest when he's going to supply Mass outside of the main parish. So we'd go with the priest in the car, and the priest will be driving and leading the rosary. So we'll be driving, we are responding to the rosary. By the time we get to where the station is, we have said maybe 1 rosary on the road. And that influenced me very much. Even now, rosary is part of my life as a priest. And I picked that one from one of our parish priests who was an Irish. He showed us a lot of examples. When we finished my high school, I remember my parish priest saying, "Are you interested in joining the priesthood?" It didn't come from me that that's what I wanted, but he asked me if I was interested. Then I said, "Oh yeah, I can ask mom to see if it is okay." And which mom said, "Yeah." So I was advised to apply to the vocation director through my parish priest. So I applied, and lucky enough, when the results came out of our high school, I had qualified to join the seminary. So I remember I was sent to a seminary in a place called Molo, and we had to spend 1 year, which we call spiritual formation for 1 year. It's like an introduction to the life of priesthood. So I remember we were there in the seminary, and we were about nearly around 120 boys for spiritual year. Many of our formators were Irish. We had a few African priests, but mainly we had Irish missionaries who took us through. And then we spent 1 year for spiritual formation, and we went for our holiday, and then we were told that we'll send you a letter confirming whether you are going to proceed with your studies now. And lucky enough, after a few weeks, I got my letter that I was admitted to proceed with my philosophical studies for 2 years. So I went to a philosophical college, seminary for 2 years. Then we finished, and then we were to wait for the assessment again, because every year you are being assessed if you are to proceed. And then I was lucky again, and I was promoted now. After graduation, I was to proceed with now my theological studies in a different seminary. So this was in the city of Nairobi, St. Thomas Aquinas Seminary. So we were there for 4 years. And one of the interesting things about the seminary, life was not very easy. It was a life of prayer, manual work, and studies. Discipline was required. You had to be very, very disciplined. So, prayer life, working, studying, that was required of us. And I remember, though it was tough, but I think the connection between us with God in terms of prayer, that was key. And I remember we had a few friends who were very close to me. We formed a small group of about 7 of us, and we had devoted ourselves to say we should be saying a prayer every day after dinner. And that prayer will be a rosary among us, 7 of us. So we'll go to the field after dinner and walk around the field. And we preside our rosary, and we committed ourselves to that. So I remember for the 4 years, we were very close with each other. We used to have the rosary as usual, but we had an extra one, which we used to do as a group of 7 supporting each other in prayer. There was a lot of challenges. Some of the students could not make it. Some had to be stopped because maybe assessment, and then the professors in the seminary would say, no, we are stopping you. It seems like maybe this is not the kind of life that is required of you. Maybe try something else. So the number was reducing every time. One time I had a big temptation. My sister was married to somebody who had a very good job, and he was a director of a company. And one time I went to visit, and he did not understand very much about vocation and the priesthood, my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law, seeing that my sister is there and other family members are struggling, my brothers and sisters, so he proposed and said, why don't you come and work in my company here so that you can be able to support the family? That was a big challenge for me. And when I was looking at that, I said, really, he has a point, that I can get a job there and then be able to support our family, which really was a very strong something. And then I went back to the seminary and asked for permission. I didn't give the reason why. I just worked it out on my own way, that to visit my bishop back at home. And they gave me the permission, and I traveled. It's a distance from my diocese to the city is about a 5-hour drive. So I got a bus, went all the way to my diocese with a plan of going to meet the bishop and telling him I'm dropping from the seminary because I want to support my family. So as I'm preparing to go the following day to see the bishop, so overnight I spent at home. I didn't tell my mother why I was there. And then the following day, instead of seeing the bishop, I got back to the bus, back to Nairobi. So I went back to the seminary after the plan that I had in mind of dropping off. Went back to the seminary. I never spoke about it again. My brother-in-law never asked me again about what I've decided. So I continued, and then a few years after that one, we were ordained as deacons in the seminary. So we were ordained deacons, and then we were sent back to the diocese for ordination to the priesthood. And then I remember went back, and then we were doing our pastoral work, supporting the parish as a deacon. And then after 6 months, I was ordained a priest in 1995. So currently I'm 29 years as a priest.